Hi, good evening. Welcome along to Steve Ray's True Crime Podcast. I just thought I'd give a little reaction to the video that most of us have probably watched tonight who were interested in the whole Decca Heggie situation, something which has rumbled on, of course, for the last few months and has gone on a bit of a roller coaster ride, something which I've found myself involved in because not only was I interviewed on Decca's podcast, but I also had him on my podcast. And obviously the revelations and the reaction to those revelations over the last few months have forced not just me but other people to step aside and move away from working with them and having them on shows and having them on podcasts or giving them any support. I don't want to go too much into that. There's been a lot said about that, but I do want to cover the video that he's done tonight and just give a reaction to it, because I think everybody will be expecting a reaction. And I did a reaction live on Paul Ellis's podcast. You can subscribe to Paul Ellis, just search Paul Ellis and you will find him in there and on YouTube. Give him a subscription. He'd like to get to 1,000 subscribers if possible. It would be good for you to go and follow him on there. But watching Decca's video, basically what he showed on there, for me, I'm not an expert on paperwork, but I do not think that was an acro that he showed. He showed something which I believe is simply a court document that you can get if you've been to court, which shows your previous convictions. As somebody who has studied a lot of the Sears court cases over the years to write the two books that I've written, Tried and Tested and Operation Sears, I've been privy to a lot of depositions and a lot of court paperwork. And for trials involving Stephen Sears, for example, there at the front of the documentation is a list of previous convictions of Stephen. And that is what that looked like to me. It looked like an index-related piece of paperwork which had previous convictions. Now, a lot of those convictions which showed up tonight were stuff that we knew about. Obviously, the infamous nightclub incident, where it's been well reported and well documented in the media, was on there. There was a lot of failure to submit to court, etc. on there. The one I found the most interesting was the racially and religiously aggravated conviction, which he was fined, I think, £250 for and £650 costs. That's a new revelation to me. And putting something up like that is only going to attract more negativity from various quarters, because people will want to know what that was, who it was, who was affected, what was said, and why was it done. So ultimately, that in itself, I found probably the most interesting thing in there. The rest of it was pretty boring and mundane. There was stuff on there which, again, drunk and disorderly, I think it was on there. There was possession of a Class A drug, cocaine. So, there was admission of guilt for various convictions which are on there. But as we've heard on the recordings that have been leaked over the last 6 to 7 weeks, and conversation, one between Decca and his mother, and again, the conversation between a female and what we presume is a police officer discussing the Clare's Law. Those two particular videos which have been put out are the damning videos. Those are the videos which I think a lot of people, and I think there was 5,800 watching that video tonight, were hoping and expecting to hear. They were hoping and expecting to hear clarification of some of these offences that he has been accused of, i.e. the things which there has been no further action. And those are the serious accusations that have been levelled at him, which caused him to say on the phone call to his mother, which we believe he recorded and then sent to somebody else, that is my understanding, that he said, if people see this, they will think that I'm a sex offender, serial sex offender. And that is the problem. That is the problem. Those questions have not been answered by this video tonight. In fact, what he's probably done is brought more problems to the situation, because a racially and religiously motivated crime has been committed, and that unfortunately is something which he's now going to have levelled at him. I saw it in the chat. It was quite fast moving, but I saw it in the chat. Obviously, the breakdown is never pleasant to see. You don't like to see anybody going through either any mental health issues at all online. I saw a lot of people saying it was crocodile tears. As somebody who's, cried and somebody who has seen people cry, I think those were genuine tears. But I guess the question is, you have to ask yourself, is what is he crying about? Is he crying because it's all starting to come down on him? Is he crying because, as he says, it's painful sharing this with people? I don't really believe it is. I believe it was self-pity. I believe it was like, oh, woe is me, that the whole world is crashing down. I'll take a little bit more time to think about it tonight, but I don't feel that, I am going to continue talking about Decca. I wanted to come on tonight and give me final assessment on it, and I just think it's time to move on. Similarly with, the ongoing situation with Paddy Conroy, I feel it's time to move on. I think it's diminishing all the decent content that I can put out on the channel. I don't think it's worth talking about anymore, and I'm sure that there'll be plenty of other channels who will cover it and who want to talk about both of those issues. I'm not going to say that I'm not going to answer a question about it if there's a live situation that I do, like I did tonight, where it's a free-for-all, people can ask whatever they want. I'm more than happy to answer questions, but ultimately, I just think it's time to move on. I'm not somebody who condones like a social media pylon, and I genuinely feel that there's plenty of people who are going to continue this, and I just think that's it. Okay, we'll take some comments. Stephen says, greetings from Belfast. Hi mate, I hope you're well. White Creature says it shocked you. Yeah, I think some of it was shocking. No DBS, says Goon Love, and that was the problem. There wasn't anything on there. Big D says up to Sunderland. Oh, they must be top of the league. I haven't seen the football results tonight. I presume they must have won against Sheffield Wednesday. About time Sunderland got out of that division. Scanned copy, no good, says Stephen. Again, I just couldn't see what the point of that video was. Barry, good to see you on Paul Ellis's podcast. Biggest load of crap I've seen, worse than his expose. He says, yeah, I don't think it's going to go down too well. Karma Corner, I can imagine, is going to have a field day with this. None of the no further action arrests. Exactly. Racism added to the list, which is what I said. White Creature, I genuinely think that is it's true. Thought it was a farce, to be honest. It's crazy hell. I agree. Can we have a balanced review, Steve? Too many nasty people on the platform. Yeah, Mark, I just genuinely feel, I just genuinely do not think at all that proved anything, mate. It didn't disprove anything. It was only his convictions, many that we knew about, some that we didn't know about, which is now going to be thrown at him as well. And the fact that it wasn't an acro, it wasn't proof that the no further, it wasn't proof of what no further actions he's been, he's been accused of, and that's what people had wanted to know. That's where we're at, Mark. I'm afraid I can't say much more. What do I think? I think I've expressed myself at the start. It's only court convictions and not everything he was arrested for. Correct. South Shields for the National League. Oh, plenty of chat on here. They must have done well as well tonight. Andy on her channel says it's BS. Yeah, I would agree, mate. I would agree. It wasn't worth the popcorn. That's exactly what it was. Anyone can get that within no time at all. It's unreal. And yeah, charge sheets can be obtained easy enough when with what you want printed on them. Says, look, yeah, I think that was his genuine list of convictions, but that wasn't what people wanted. It wasn't a DBS. They are blue paper, no DBS, no acro. He said he had sent off for. Yeah, and I think maybe that's why the tears were there. You're right, it's a court document, pre-cons, not an acro or DBS, Richie. I thought so. Yeah, I can imagine that's what our friend will be saying on Karma TV tomorrow. Another failure, just like the expose. That was most pathetic defense ever. I thought he would have at least faked DBS. Yeah, Exposure TV. It wasn't worth waiting for, was it? Where was the enhanced DBS? Everyone's saying that. An insult to everyone with real mental health. I really think the likes of yourself should stay clear now, Steve, and let whatever happens. Nick, I agree 100%. It's not worth the clickbait. It's not worth jumping on this at every opportunity. It's not worth talking about anymore. And it's pushing revenue towards him. He's had 5,800 people watching that. I bet it'll be up to 20,000 in no time at all, and he'll have made another 15 or 20 quid off other people's misery. And I think you're right, Nick. I think the thing is, I think we should, we should turn our back and let the authorities deal with this. And I'm sure they will do. I'm sure they're making comprehensive notes each and every time something goes out there, from not just his channel, but everybody's channel. All he's made himself look is more foolish and still left everyone with more questions than answers. The crocodile tears at the end is the funniest thing I've seen in years. I mean, it's not good, is it? It's not good. And I agree. I'm not a mental health ambassador. I'm very lucky that I haven't struggled with my mental health. I thought I might do during lockdown, but I didn't. But I know a lot of people who do, and I genuinely feel for those people who've got to listen to somebody banging on about mental health when it's something that they're hiding. It seems to me is that they're hiding behind it as a defense mechanism. I think it's awful. At least you can see it clear on playback now. Yeah, Andy, you're right. That's not an acro. Look on Anne's video. She has a dip. She was a dibble eye here. Yeah, she was a copper. Yeah, she was a copper. Complete waste of time. Full acro shows all arrests and what they are, regardless of outcome. That was not an acro or an enhanced DBS. So people just not happy. Just see my lass's DBS enhanced. She got to work on taxis. It's now like Decca's. So a lot of people saying that. Crocodile tears as always. Defo a court document, which is what I thought it was. Seeing them when I worked with the solicitors, he said he was going to put an acro up, which he didn't. It's unreal, says Truth Not Lies. You must think we're stupid. Nobody claimed he was convicted of the sexual crimes. He's dangerous. And again, it's just disappointing, I guess, for a lot of people, but it's not unexpected by most of us. Steve Ray's forehead scar is bigger than Decca Heggie's, according to his video. The scar thing, I'm not sure about. It was clearly live. It said live. Unless that was doctored, I don't know. But it wasn't what we were expecting. Thank you, White Creature. Thank you. Nothing after 2013. Yeah, again, strange. The paperwork dotted all over the place. It wasn't in order. I think a lot of people were looking at expecting it to be in order, and it wasn't in order. I thought that was strange. I'm not just analysing somebody else's situation. I'm analysing somebody who I've had to distance myself from, somebody whose podcast I went on and somebody who was on my podcast. I'm not just analysing somebody else's situation, something I've been involved in. If you go back through the videos, he needs to stop pretending he has bipolar with sleeping tablets as he is making a mockery of mental health. A lot of people are annoyed about that, and rightly so. Nothing after 2013 is a big thing. DMD says he needs to give over because the Manchester lads are on his case. Barry says he's made himself look more guilty. The travellers won't have that kind of situation. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we've seen the videos that have come out from those guys. Kenny, really, if he kills himself, then yous will be to blame. Look, mate, nobody wishes anybody any harm, or nobody wants anybody to do anything to themselves. Ask yourself, if you were in that position, Kenny, what you would do. And would you come out and prove yourself, or would you just walk away? I would prove myself innocent, and then I would walk away. It's not worth the hassle putting yourself through this, and going through this. So, I've got a clear conscience, on this particular situation. I've just simply cleared my name and distanced myself from him. And like I said, I'm not going to continue this. I'm going to call an end to my involvement in this from today. But it doesn't mean that if someone comes on a podcast that I do and ask a question about it, that I'm not going to answer honestly. It's ridiculous to constantly expect a man to defend any and every accusation against them. End of the day, it's police and court's job to convict people. D, I agree. A kangaroo caught online is not going to get a conviction. Decca is innocent. Move on to your next victim, says Stuart Harvey. I haven't got victims, Stuart. I'm not a bully. I'm not a cyber bully. I'm simply covering this as a YouTuber who's been involved in this particular situation. This won't end well. He was telling the truth. A few pints, I don't know that he was telling the truth. His convictions are there for everybody to see. But like a lot of people say, they only go to a certain point in time. And it wasn't the convictions people were asking to see. So that is strange. You bang on about that video has made things 10 times worse for himself. Axel's took 2 weeks to crop out the important stuff, allegedly. I'm not sure whether that is the case, but we will wait and see. He didn't have the scar on his head. He looks like it was pre-recorded a while ago. Jackie, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know. I'd have to watch it back. People with mental health don't bring it up every 5 minutes. Decca has no issues with mental health. I know he possibly has had some kind of mental health issue, but not to the extent that he talks about, in my mind. I don't think he has at all. Pointy Chris says, I don't half like stirring the pot. No, I'm giving an opinion, mate. It's a YouTube channel. That's what I do. His papers are faker than Stephen's. His papers aren't fake, mate. Come and see them. Staffy says, but Steve, he's not doing his own mental health any favours. Exactly, he's not. Paddy thing is very boring now, says Mark. Agree, mate, and that's why I'm moving on 100%. The hole gets deeper, which is what a lot of people, I think, have taken that tonight. Matthew Dale calls us a bully. I'm not a bully, mate. I'm giving my views on the YouTube channel about an event which is taking place tonight, which a lot of people will be doing. Do I believe Decca now or not? Nikki, no, I don't believe him at all. I don't think he's covered what anybody wanted him to cover. Listen to the recording that he did with his mum. Listen to the recording, the Clare's Law recording, and come back and tell me what you think. It's fake as the clothes they sell on Turkey. He's a wrong'un, according to Nick, according to Mick. And look, this is all about opinions. It's not necessarily the opinion that I share. I just want to cover this and cover it properly. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. If he doesn't do himself, in hope Brad Pitt and Snatch Crew make him disappear like bricked up. Again, I don't wish any harm on the person, but I think that the victims who are involved in this need to be considered. And I genuinely feel ultimately that this needs to end. And then, something needs to happen. The authorities need to act. Something needs to happen here. Good evening, Maya Mola. I hope you're well. It only went up to 2013. Matthew says, Bully Boy Steve has hounded the guy for months. And what's it even got to do with you? Matthew have explained. I got dragged into this situation because he started to, have a pop at me over the Stephen Sayers and Paddy Conroy argument. That's how he brought me into it. You need to keep up with the program, mate. You need to keep up with the program. Kevin says, if you haven't experienced mental health issues, you wouldn't understand what he's going through. Yeah, I agree. There is nobody who can say that he isn't going through mental health issues. He clearly will be because of this. He's been targeted left, right, and centre by lots of different people who are all asking the same thing and demanding the same thing. Some people are going too far. Some people are just simply asking, show this, show that, and he hasn't shown it. That's the problem. Stu says, why should an NFA be used? He's not charged or guilty of NFA. It's a pointless complaint. It's just because of the people who've come forward and because of the tapes that were released, where he is, basically saying one thing and the police on the Clare's Law are saying another. That's the reason. That's the reason this has gone on and on and on. But like I said, Stu, I'm taking a back seat and moving away now. I've said my bit. I've done my bit tonight. This will be the last thing I do about it. And we will move on and we'll see what happens. People saying that the scar didn't look or watch again. I don't know. The scar looked as if it was there to me. I'll have to watch it back again. A simple police conviction sheet. I think that's all it was. Paul says, I think you moving on from this tells me you are starting to believe his trolls have made up lots of lies. Yeah, Decca's no angel, but there are lots of people on here who are no angels. Look, everyone, has their own opinions. Me personally, Paul, I've done what I've had to do and I've moved away and I'm moving on. I just want 2022 to be more positive on here. I'd rather people didn't bitch on and fight on, and I'd rather people got on. It can be a nice community, YouTube. We've done that with the football-related stuff. I'd like to do that with the true crime stuff now. Supermum says, not all sexual offences end up in court. Only cases with 70% chance of winning will go to court, and it's up to the CPS, which is true. Staffy says, can't be balanced when he's been linked with sexual predator crimes with adults and minors. Again, it's all allegations. A lot of it's been NFA'd, but we'll see what happens, Staffy. We'll see what happens. Lennon says, what happens next? He should let the YouTube game go and get on with his life. To be honest, that's what I would probably do. I would prove my innocence and walk away. But that's it. Well put, Steve. Happy New Year to you too. What a waste time. I thought so. I didn't think it was worth watching. Why not wait until 9 p.m. to see the paperwork? Well, we've seen it, mate. We've seen whatever was supposed to be shown, and it wasn't what everybody was looking. Zami, it's Decca Heggie. You just need to look on YouTube. You'll find out what it's all about. He said he'd sent off for the paperwork, but then he says he got it in court. Again, John, I do think he shot himself in the foot. Lots of people just saying the same things. It's outrageous. Jamie says, thanks, Steve. You're a fair bloke and I enjoy watching your channel. Thank you. Not worth the paper it was written on. It says Brummy Adam TV. again, I don't think anybody's disagreeing in this chat. Maybe one or two people slightly, but most people are the same. It's out now, Mike. It's out now. Not the right paper won't heal the pain. Was that a fake document? No, it was a genuine document. It wasn't the document people have wanted to see. Matthew says, Steve, I admit you've bullied the guy for months regardless of what he has done or hasn't done. Who are you to be the judge and juror and executioner? I haven't personally bullied him. Watch me videos back. Watch the videos back. Watch the events and watch how it's worked. I certainly haven't bullied him at all. I have simply changed my mind on the person, and that's it, Matthew. I'm not a bully. So all the trolls accept he isn't convicted of the offence. You said he was innocent. I never said he was convicted of those particular offences, but the Clare's law stated that he had an offence in 2018, and the Clare's law also states other offences which were no further actioned, and that is what people are concerned about. And the fact that John, his business partner, his ex-business partner, had the police go to the house and give him the same explanation for Clare's law that was read out on the phone call that was leaked on the internet, that's what people are more concerned about. And it's as simple as that. And that isn't bullying. That's people coming out and saying, well, this is what I've heard. This is all you can really say. Summary of convictions from a magistrate's court, a lot of people saying. Other podcasters might struggle if they haven't got Decca to talk about. It's a possibility. Steve, I think you are shocking, by the way. I heard you on Paul Ellis. The guy showed his criminal record. What more do you want? Stu, look, this isn't me leading this particular campaign. I'm involved in this as a podcaster like everybody else. And ultimately, he showed a criminal record. But if you've been following a story with intent, like most of us have, you will know that that isn't what people were looking to see. And that isn't what he said he was going to provide. And he hasn't provided what he said he was going to provide. It's as simple as that, Stu. And I'm not looking to fight or fall out with people, but I just genuinely don't think that he showed what people were expecting. I think he's going to release a new one tonight on his live, unless that was already done. I don't think so, mate. I think that's it. Not even using his full legal name, which of course I don't know whether that was, whether that is right or not. Lots of people saying lots of different things. An arrest with NFA is NFA for a reason. Jesus, well, that's fine. As an NUFC fanzine commentator and true crime writer, why do you get involved in Heggie and this circus? SWC, it's because I have been involved, because he made it his business to get involved with the whole Paddy Conroy, Stephen Sears situation. He dragged me into his world, and then he got us on his podcast. It's on there, Decca Heggie versus Steve Wraith live, and then he got us onto another one with Cookie. I did 2 shows on his, and then I got him onto mine, and that's it. Absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what you mean by check my DBS. I've got a DBS, as everybody knows. And regarding Conroy papers, what are you on about? Regarding Conroy papers, the Conroy papers are there from a solicitor, from Richard Haswell, the Sears solicitor. I've got the paperwork, which I've put out on Video Craig's podcast. Watch that when it comes out, and you will see it all. Paddy Conroy next? I doubt it, mate. I doubt it. He's just he'll be doing something about this as well, no doubt. Let's see what else we can put up without upsetting people. Look, I didn't call him that at all, Barry. Would you leave him alone with your kids? No, you wouldn't. All right, okay, sorry, I misread that, mate. Sorry. It's all an NFA because it's a false claim. Not necessarily. I'm not sure that's what an NFA is. No further action means that maybe there wasn't enough evidence, but that's it. Why did you distance yourself, Steve? Answer the question. Peter, I didn't see it. I've got that many questions coming in. I distanced myself because I'd heard the Clare's law. John from Criminal Underworld read it down the phone to me after the police had been to his house, and he told me the full situation, and that's why I distanced myself from him. Jimmy says, given that you've seen the paperwork from John, do you agree he's innocent as he claims, or guilty as a lot of people, including John, think? Jimmy, I've distanced myself from him because there's a doubt over this, and he hasn't explained any of the NFAs. Why would anybody accuse him of such heinous crimes if there wasn't, there's no smoke without fire? And it's not one person. This isn't him having a domestic fallout with a woman and then maybe he's a child making an accusation. This is different cases, and that's the problem. And I think that's what's been highlighted on all these other YouTube channels. So, look, I'm taking a big back step from it now. I am going to move on, and that's it. And that's basically it. Carl, you're right. I am just here for chats and entertainment and company on the channel. I am just releasing content. That's all I'm doing. And if you like it, great. If you don't, sorry. And you can move on. You can just switch off. If you got no further action, it means no evidence or proof. So let's get Stephen's NFA open paperwork to what was meant to be shown when Paddy was asking. I've got no idea what you're going on about, Keith, but I am, as you know, a school governor, and you have to have a DBS to be a school governor. I've got no convictions. I've got nothing in my paperwork that needs to be looked at. And if you're sitting at home believing what Paddy Conroy is saying about me, then more fool you. Well done for covering this. Thank you, Anthony. I did answer that question. You keep repeating it, but I did answer it earlier. Jason said, I bet Jimmy Savile never had any convictions, lol. Look what happened there. Very true. Good to see you, Jason. See you next week. Steve, have you seen Gary Fraser's YouTube videos of stories of Muir House in Edinburgh? They are really good. I think the CS film is in good hands. Yeah, I have seen them, mate. He is a good guy, but he's not on the film anymore. We've got somebody different now. Gary moved on. Did you show your DBS? I mean, why do I need to? I've got no accusations or convictions against me. For those who don't know where to look, check out True Media. Majority of the evidence is on there. Claire's Law and the police phone calls, exactly. And my advice, get away from this. When he does something to himself, it won't look good. A man can only be pushed so far. Yeah, I am distancing myself from it, but only because I just don't want to spoil the content anymore. Have you ever had a conjugal visit with Ron Cray? No, I haven't. I was visited at Ron Cray for 5 years and I visited Reggie for 10 years. It's well documented in my book, The Craze, The Geordie Connection. Simple solution. If you don't like him, don't watch him. Walk away when people stop watching the minute. He's stringing everyone along, getting views and proving out. The Claire's Law reading doesn't sound true. The people who put that on YouTube will be in trouble for disclosing that. Also, they'd be in more trouble for unwittingly recording a police officer. It's a point, Baker boy. But the conversation between Decca and his mum, I think, is another one that you need to really look at. I think it's time to let the police do their job and have a great 2020. Same to you, Jamie. And yeah, I would imagine that they will do. Why are you telling us to watch what you have done with that wrong video, Craig? Because it's an interview I recorded with him before he was, before all of his stuff came out. And unfortunately, that is a good documentary to watch. So I would tell you to watch it because it explains the whole Paddy Conroy situation for everybody to see. So give it a watch. You're a good podcaster, Steve. Move on and stick to your football and true crime, mate. Positive vibes. Thank you, mate. And I will do 100%. I'm not close with Video Craig. I just got to know him before his big reveal of what he'd done. The difference between him and other people is he's owned it. He's accepted it. It's the same as Danny Christie and what he's done in the past. He's accepted it and owned it, and he feels remorseful for doing it. I'm not somebody who picks up the phone and goes out on a night out with Video Craig. He's not a close associate. I've only got 2 or 3 really close friends, and he's going to continue making podcasts. There's nothing you can do, and if you don't like him, don't watch him. But there's not a closeness there. We've come across each other, and that's it. Leave the bloke alone, says Kiers. Talking about Decca. Yeah, I'm moving on, mate. Where do we go from here, Steve? Where do we go from here, and how do you feel? I felt let down with the video. I think if there was going to be a situation, a positive situation come from that, then it would have been tonight. And I just think it's going nowhere. Did the video make you feel he was guilty? I just feel as if he's covering things up, and I just feel he knows the world's collapsed on top of him. He had a good podcast. Go back 3 months, things were going well. He was putting out good content. He was getting good views, getting good hits, but then everything's caved in. And I just think, for him, he's sad about what's happened, and it's as simple as that. David says, I could recruit 4 people and make same allegations against any of you, and you'll have exactly the same Claire's Law. Point is, there's no rape convictions listed. NFAs don't need to be seen. David, your opinion, mate. And yeah, I'm sure you could, but the difference is I've got no criminal record. I don't have those things in my background, in my backstory. So there is a difference. Screw Heggie and the man in the shed. Everybody needs to move on. Who do you think Newcastle need to sign? God, Mbappe, mate, 100%. Jimmy, no problem, mate. Is it true the Freemasonry is full of this kind of skullduggery? No, it's not, man. Freemasonry is definitely not full of skullduggery. It's something I'm proud to be involved in. And does it give you an advantage in life? No, it doesn't. I tell you what it does do. It gives you the opportunity to learn a lot more about yourself. And I'm really pleased that I got into it. Without having Steve's channel, guys, I admit you miss it a lot. One of the most entertaining man on YouTube. It's a great channel. Thank you. Heggie is the new Raoul Moat. I hope not. I hope he doesn't go down that avenue. And as I say, the police, if there's anything to answer, I'm sure the police will get to the bottom of it. I'm an HMRC whistleblower who had false sexual allegations made after I blew the whistle on corruption in the department. They paid out thousands of pounds in compensation. Allegedly, that is. That's your opinion. That's your story. I was expecting more paperwork and be read out. I didn't see any regarding list of NFAs, and I was expecting that. At least at least Decca has the balls to show his convictions. What has all you cyberbullies done? I'm not a cyberbully, mate. I'm a YouTuber. Paddy says the committee are coming to see your paperwork on Paddy. Will you open the door even, Steve? It depends who's coming in and how they approach me about coming to see it, but I'm more than happy to meet them and sit and let them have a look at the paperwork. I'm happy to do a lie detector. I'm happy to do anything, but every time I make an offer to do something, it just gets swerved, ignored, and more insults get thrown. Stop sitting on the fence and have an opinion, Steve. Thanks, Bobby. The crime was because Father Christmas did not give him any presents. Steve has not been too involved, really. Everyone waiting on Karma Corner's reaction, which I believe will be tomorrow. And answer the question. You're frowned upon in the Dorman community. Peter, I'm not frowned upon in the Dorman community at all. Again, that's another Paddy Conroy story, which comes from my book, which he was doing a fantastic review, although he kept getting the title wrong. I was known as a scab for 6 months in the 1990s because I went and worked on a door that I was told to get off. There was a drugs raid at Legends. The doors went through. I was working in Ibiza. I then got offered a job at Legends. I came back because my name was down on the list to work there. I came back and all the doormen had been sacked. So then I was offered an opportunity. I was basically told by one of the ex-doormen that I had to get off the door, and if I didn't, there'd be trouble. And I said, well, get us another job elsewhere. At that time, I had 5 nights a week at Legends. And ultimately, the lad came back and said, I've got you 2 nights up in a bar in Biker. And I said, well, I can't live on that. And that was it. So I stood my ground for 6 months. I was barred from all the bars in town in the 90s. It was 1990, 1999 or something. And after that, the guy who ran the doors at the time, Paul Lister, came up and shook my hand and says, fair play, you stood your ground, you can get back in all the bars, and that was it. It was as simple as that. Do the right thing, says, I think you're all entertaining. If you were squeaky clean an angel, somebody would even make stuff up. The one-eyed monster in the shed is setting the bar for all the wrong reasons. Be safe, thank you. I will do. If you were Decca, would not want to talk to someone about the situation, I know I would. Don't try taking that recording out of context. Okay, well, again, everyone's got an opinions, mate. Have you interviewed Glover? Have you interviewed Glover, or is this an option? David Glover, we've spoken to him again. I'm sure at some point he will come back on the channel. Decca Heggie's not mentally ill. It's all a front for discussing behaviour. That's your opinion. I'm glad you've covered it, Steve. Why should it just be swept under the carpet? Exactly, mate. It's YouTube. It's about opinions. Sean Atwood getting a beat down on my channel, says Jack the Hat. Not sure why. Sure you will let us know. Video Craig or Danny haven't revealed anything though. No angels. Yeah, I mean, again, he's been exposed. His past has been put out there for everybody to see. But it was out there anyway. It was in the public domain, and that is it. Not allegedly, Steve. HMRC admitted an employment tribunal on tape, which you can click on YouTube. Thanks, Andy Ali. Okay, apologies to that. I don't know anything about the case. I'm just being careful. Who's advising Decca? I mean, in a few podcasts, even when Steve was on, he was laughing about things, which brings me to believe he's not being advised well. God knows, mate. If online is that bad, he needs to get offline. Yeah, which is sometimes the hardest thing, switching off. Some accusers of Decca do have some bad crimes on their paperwork. Is it you who you like, etc., or who you fear? Serious. What do you think Dean Lynch will have to say? God knows, mate. He's a man of few words, but he gets his message across, doesn't he? Does he honestly think this list of convictions will distract us from the real allegations? Again, this is what it's all about. Opinions. I was a Decca supporter, but changed my mind when people I know got involved to out him. Now it's a drama, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends. It's going on too long. The difference is that this is real life now. This is real life. This isn't. Let's be serious here. I'm going to move on from the. I'll move on from the comments for a second before I switch off. This is real life. This is people's lives. On one side, we've got victims who, people who suffer mentally. We've had people come out and say that this is what's happened. And on the other side, we've got Decca Heggie, who was a successful podcaster. He was an extra, and he appeared in a couple of films and TV shows. And ultimately, somebody somewhere is suffering, and people are suffering. And this is the problem. We're all watching it. We're all voyeurs. YouTube's become a major thing over the last couple of years with lockdown, etc. So ultimately, we'll become voyeurs on something which has got to be an end to. And is the end going to see him in prison? Is the end going to see him, another end? I don't know. But for me, I'm out. This is my last video on it. It's my last comments on it, unless I'm doing a live with somebody and somebody asks us about it. But yeah, that's it. Great content. Thank you very much. Any more Charlie Salvador stuff? There will be, mate, at some point. But at the moment, his parole is very important. His hearing has been put back to September 2022, which he's not very happy about. But that's all we've got to, that's all we've got to, look at, his parole. And I don't want to do anything that's going to affect that at all. So that's it really. Last couple of questions. The DBS paperwork John had on one of the podcasts on Clare's Law. We didn't learn much new tonight. A lot of criminal damage stuff, which I would agree. Tumble Rumble. Steve, Paddy and his goons, I want you to do a DBS. Okay, you've called Decca out on this. I think it's time for you to provide yours, same as Paddy. Yeah, I'd love to see Paddy provide his. I guarantee there will be something on there which will certainly disappoint his loyal followers. But yeah, my DBS is fine. But we will wait and see whether he puts his out. I'm not getting sucked into that whole thing with Conroy, though. I've told you, I'm moving on. 2022, I'm moving on. His real beef is with that man behind us. And he's setting his own YouTube channel up, which goes live in January. Look forward to seeing what content he puts out. Nothing to do with me. He's on his own. He can deal with Paddy. Their argument, not mine. Better than television, Steve, Ram Raider. I've got to be honest, as an observer, I would agree with you. What have I got planned for the new year? Some big interviews, some great stuff, more Newcastle United content, which keeps people happy. Some interesting true crime ones. Tomorrow, 2:00 though, you've got to tune in. I've got a great interview. It's live, so you get the chance to ask questions with Lee Davies. Now, Lee's got a hell of a story, and we'll touch on this now. Lee's story starts as him becoming a professional footballer. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't make it. He then ends up as a fireman. He then ends up as a prison officer. Unfortunately for him, then he turns to a life of crime and he ends up in jail. Great story. Tune in tomorrow, 2:00, live, so you can ask the questions, and we'll go on his journey. That will be fascinating. So that's Lee Davies, 2:00 live on the channel tomorrow. Cheers, Stephen. NUFC Matters. Thank you very much. Let's see what's happening here. MPW, in this day and age, you cannot be a school governor if you're a wrong'un. Well, 100%. That's the whole point of having the DBS. I have to have one. Steve Wraith did not bully Heggie. It was the other way around. Heggie attacked Steve first. Thank you. Not true crime related, but please get the tune to buy Jetro. Steve, do good job. I like comedy clip. Thank you, Lyndon. Last couple of questions. Why did he threaten Anthony Burkett? I didn't. And me and Burkett have chatted, in the chat, but he's made it quite clear that he supports Paddy's situation. And all I said was choose your side. And he did. He chose his side. And I said, right, bye. It was a message. It was an inbox on social media. And you can ask a few others. I sent them exactly the same message. Happy Christmas from me and the lads behind the Sears page and the Sears book, etc. And he switched that. He made it look as if it was a threat. It wasn't a threat at all. And you think Anthony Burkett would be scared of me? Do us a favour. Why would he be scared of me? But look, I can't have people on my social media or on my page. I wouldn't ban him from the channel, and some of the stuff he puts up is great. But you know, from my point of view, I didn't threaten him, mate. So don't come at us with that. Can I give Paddy a wave? Decca has definitely bullied Steve. He did over the whole Conroy thing. He stuck his nose in and he made it more difficult for me over that whole situation. I didn't enjoy it, you know. Thanks, Steve. Enjoyed tonight. Just feel Decca's dug a bigger hole. So I felt bullied. Yeah, well, it is. It's cyberbullying from Conroy, isn't it? That's what he wants. He wants us to go and report him. He wants us to report him so we can say, yeah, Steve Wraith bullied us. He's gone to police and this, that, and the other. I'm not going to do it. You know, it's there for everybody to see. 300 plus videos on his channel, all about me. All lies, all slander. Let him crack on. Let him crack on. And, you know, I can deal with it because it's all lies. So let him crack on. Any other decent points before I switch off? Because I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and catch up with the football. Sunderland versus Newcastle next season. Robert, if Sunderland go up, good luck to them. From my point of view, I genuinely think Newcastle will stay up. Let's see who they buy, yeah? Steve, say Marvin Herbert like karma just to end your stream on a light, mate. Marvin Herbert. Yeah, that was funny, that wasn't it, on his video earlier on. Steve, have you ever thought about doing something with Big Billy Robinson? I'm sure he would have great stories. Look, I went to see him a couple of months ago with Jamie, mate. I don't think he's up for doing them, if you want my honest opinion. But, you know, I would love to get him on. I'd love to get Ernie Buick on as well. You know, from my perspective, I'd love to get him on, but we'll see. It's envy. Steve's made millions. Let's get envious. I haven't made millions, mate. I wish I had. My last word on Decca. Let's finish it on that. I don't want anything to do with them, and I won't be associated with them. And you know, let's see what happens. But I'm moving on. 2022, time to make good content and move on from Decca Heggie and Paddy Conroy. Good luck to everybody. I hope you all have a fantastic new year. Please tune in 2 o'clock tomorrow. It'll be great. If you don't mind on the way out, hit the thumb up. Please subscribe as well to the channel. If you subscribe to the channel, you know, it's free. All my content's free. If you like Newcastle, great. If you don't like Newcastle, there's plenty of, you know, true crime content. And as I say, Lee Davies tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Well worth tuning in. And if you're into Newcastle United, we've got the Three Amigos, 5:30 tomorrow night. So tune in. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care. Subscribe. Give it a share as well if you can. Take care. Good night. Happy New Year.